It's Friday, 6th October 2023. Good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live. In the bulletin this afternoon, government on course to receive second tranche of IMF support program. Also in the bulletin, calls for sustainable source of funding for immunization as Ghana strives to attain self-financing of vaccines. We'll bring you some business news as IMF to revise at 1.5% growth projection for Ghana following improved macroeconomic indicators. Plus some international news. Zimbabwe's government introduces restrictions to control cholera outbreak that is suspected to have killed more than 100 people. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us for some international entertainment and sports news as well. My name is Noble Cross-Viana. Let's settle for the details of the stories. The visiting IMF delegation, which has been assessing the status of Ghana's economy, has expressed satisfaction with Ghana's progress so far. Government says Ghana is on course to receive the second tranche of IMF support program worth $600 million. On May 17, the IMF approved a $3 billion three-year loan package for Ghana, with the first tranche of $600 million received on May 19, 2023. My colleague Duke Mensah-Opoku monitored the media engagement, and he's joining us with some more updates on the happenings between the Bank of Ghana governor, the finance minister, and the IMF country representative. Duke, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time with us. What sense do we get from the presser this morning?
The sense we get is that the country is on course towards getting a disbursement of $600 million. Which will bring the total disbursement to $1.2 billion for government.
Okay. Duke, I'd like for you to hold on for me. I'll get back to you for some updates on the happenings on the latest presser concerning the International Monetary Fund, where the visiting delegation has been assessing the status of Ghana's economy. And in the meantime, it has expressed satisfaction with Ghana's progress so far. The government says that Ghana is on course to receive the second tranche of the support program worth $600 million. We're speaking with Duke Mensah-Opoku again for some update and perspectives on the presser. Duke, you were making a point on the sense we're getting from the presser. Yes.
So it's quite clear from the communication of Stefan Rodet, who is the head of the mission, who arrived in the country together with his team, that indeed the country is on course with its the review. What they actually came to do was conduct a review.
Right.
And the outcome of the review is that the projections are okay. The fiscal slippages, government is doing its best to bring back the country on course. And for now, one key benchmark which they have to meet is to be able to get a memorandum of understanding with its external creditors. They patted government on the back for being able to conclude the domestic debt exchange, the DDEP. And in fact, they've indicated that what we've reached is a staff level agreement. We need a management level agreement and then an executive board approval. Once we get these board approvals, then the second tranche of $600 million will be released. And the aim is to get that released done by November, which is next month.
We know that the central bank governor has come under heavy criticism over the past weeks, and he's been speaking about what his outfit is doing to consolidate the gains we've made in the financial space.
Well, he did indicate that on the monetary side of things, because of prudent management, things are going on quite well as well. He says they'll continue to tighten the monetary side of things and, of course, ensure that everything achieves that sound equilibrium, which would ensure economic growth. I engaged him after the presser in relation to the matters that have come up regarding the demonstration and the rest. And he did indicate to me that for him, it's important that the government keeps its focus on dealing with the issues at hand, and that he will not engage further on the issues concerning the Occupy BOG demonstration. So that's what he did indicate. But the major takeaway item from him at this presser is that they'll continue to tighten the rates on the monetary side of things. That's what he did.
For the finance minister, he was there too.
Yes.
What did he say concerning the progress that the country is making to receive the next amount of money that Ghana is expected to get from the fund?
He sits at top of the financial architecture of the country, and the indication he gave, of course, now the IMF is saying they will have to even revise the growth projections because the country is, the management of the country seems to be adapting so well to the IMF condition precedents and the fact and the thing that we have to do to be able to meet the fund's requirements. So he is happy with that, and his main indication is that they are targeting the end of the year to be able to reach a memorandum of understanding with the country's external creditors. In May 2023, which is earlier this year, they were able to get what we call a financing program for the country's external creditors, and then a Paris Club of countries, France, China, and the rest. They believe that they have their support and their buy-in in terms of restructuring the country's external debt. So the finance minister says they have a firm plan in place. I asked him that question. He says they have a firm plan in place to ensure that by the end of the year, they'll be able to reach an agreement with their external creditors. That's the next important benchmark we have to reach in all of these deliberations with the IMF and the fund program, that extended credit facility program that we are currently under.
Duke, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Duke Mensah-Poku is my colleague who followed the presser between the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of Ghana, as well as the finance minister who was there bringing us updates on Ghana's progress so far to receive the next tranche of money coming from the fund. We're still talking about issues concerning Ghana, and 70% of participants sampled in research by Global Info Analytics say the country is headed in the wrong direction. Now, a significant number also believe their standard of living has worsened in the past 12 months. This comes barely weeks after hundreds of Ghanaians massed up on the streets in the Occupy Jubilee House protest to press home the demand for government to improve living conditions. Well, Global Info Analytics has been assessing the citizens' view on the state of the country and other political and social issues. And here are the highlights of the findings of the research. There's a mention of the president's job approval, and according to the research conducted by Musa Dankwe's team, the president's approval, the rating dropped sharply from July to October, with 66% of Ghanaians disapproving of the president's performance. In the direction of the country, as mentioned earlier, 70% believe that Ghana is heading in the wrong direction. These are huge numbers we're looking at. There's a mention also of the standard of living, and 47% of the respondents feel their standard of living has worsened in the last year. The research also focuses on other subjects, particularly the performance of the police service, the Electoral Commission, amongst others. For the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Kufu-Dampare, he enjoys a 61% confidence from the public. And this is a research coming after the Parliamentary Committee probing the leaked IGP tape. There's also a mention of the confidence in the entire police service. Now, only 49% of the respondents have confidence in the Ghana Police Service in the ability to manage the 2024 election. 37% do not. For the confidence in the Electoral Commission, half of the voters, 50%, have confidence in the Electoral Commission. That's good news. But 39%, they do not have confidence in the body. And the views of hoarding cash coming after the Cecilia Dapa cash stacking saga came, 65% believe that hoarding of cash is widespread among politicians and not limited to only the former sanitation minister. Let's go into the 2024 general elections. John Dramani Mahama leads with 48.3% support, followed by Dr. Bawumia with 20% and Alan Kyerematen also at 11.3%. There's a shift in voter preference. Now listen carefully. Out of the 6.7 million people who voted for Nana Akufo-Addo in 2020, 1.4 million of them, they now intend to vote for John Dramani Mahama. Another 1 million say they will vote for Alan Kyerematen. These are just a few of the highlights in the research conducted by Global Info Analytics. For the NPP race itself, Dr. Bawumia now leads with 44% of the support, and he's followed by Kennedy Agyapong with 35%. The rest do not make up that huge numbers. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. He joins us via Zoom for more on the story. Mr. Dankwa, thank you for joining us. Do we get a sense from the interaction with participants on what may have accounted for some of the outcomes? I mean, first, on the direction of the country, which is headed in the wrong direction in the living standards.
Right. Thank you very much for having me. I think everything that we found from voters is linked to the direction of the country and people's standard of living. The direction of the country has deteriorated in people's view to amount to about 70%, and that is very, very high. One of the highest we've seen since polling started in 2022. And also people saying that their standard of living has worsened, has also gone up marginally in October compared to July. So these are the things that are feeding into sentiments of voters and making those choices that they are making now.
Another of the area of research was the police service and the confidence in the IGP. Do you agree that this may have influenced greatly by his appearance at the parliamentary committee probing the leaked tape?
Yes, definitely, because it was after the period that we went into the field, try and gauge the support or the confidence people have in the IGP. And it was quite shocking that he was around 61% support among voters. And that is quite huge endorsement of his style of management of the service. Ironically, less than 50% of voters have confidence in the police's ability to manage their elections very well in 2024, which means he may have to use the confidence he has from the public to influence the outcome of the election in terms of the way the police run the elections.
Now, Mr. Dankwa, this research also revealed some major shift in political preference with the NPP and the NDC, also the introduction of Alan Kyerematen. Tell us more on the Alan Kyerematen dynamic on the national political scene. Your data suggests participants seem to have some confidence in him, and others will also want to take a detour from the NPP to the NDC.
Yes, I mean, from the word go, when he withdrew from the race, the effect was that if he wasn't going to contest, that we expect the NDC numbers to go up. But the moment he declared his intention to contest as independent candidate, we knew the problem that he would give to both MPP and NDC, and in particular in MPP. Now, the poll finds that he's doing almost 11.34%. And these numbers he's gaining has largely. If you look at John Mahama is on 48%. Bawumia is now on 28%. In the previous poll, he has been around 37, 39%. Now he's dropped significantly to 28%. Alan numbers came from Bawumia and some from Mahama, because there were some MPP voters who, without Alan, would have voted for Mahama. But with Alan in the race, they seem to be coming back home.
We can't let you go, Mr. Dankwa, without talking about how you came about these findings. Talk to us about the shortcomings in this research and what the political actors or those who are concerned about this can use this for.
I mean, obviously, every poll has a margin of error. In this particular poll, we interviewed close to 6,423, with 5,800 completing all the interview questions. And the margin of error for this poll is 1.58 at the 99% confidence level. So the poll must be read in conjunction with the margin of error. So long as people were truthful to us, I think the polls are correct.
Mr. Dr. Dankwa, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. They can log onto our website, 3news.com, for more on this latest research conducted by Global Info Analytics there. Away from that, the visiting IMF delegation, which has been assessing the status of Ghana's economy, they have expressed satisfaction with Ghana's progress so far. Now, government says Ghana is on course to receive the next amount of money from the IMF support program worth $600 million. On May 17, the IMF approved a $3 billion loan package for Ghana, with the first tranche of $600 million received on May 19, 2023.
Intention is not to get into the very details of the changes in projections at the current juncture, because we need to finalize everything, the assessment, and then to present it to the board. But just to give you a bit of a perspective on where we are and how we are looking at things. The minister mentioned that the growth performance in the first half was of the order of slightly north of 3% growth. And what we had in terms of projection for the year as a whole was 1.5%. So that gives you an idea of the difference in terms of what is actually happening on the ground and what the assumptions of the program were. And so, yes, we will revise growth up for this year, but I will come up with details and the exact number later in the future.
Well, Professor John Gachi is Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. He's joining us to relate to the IMF conversation. Prof, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. The IMF review is due at the end of June 2023, and that has been completed. Do you agree with the fund and government that the economy is now on a strong path to recovery?
Well, I think the fund has set some benchmark for the government, and they are satisfied that government is performing to those benchmarks that they have set for the government. I think that is what is the conversation. What we are expecting is to see a downward trend in most of the measures that we have seen before the IMF came on board. And it seems they are satisfied with that, and that is the message. However, remember that economic management is supposed to benefit the business sector, is supposed to benefit households as we engage in economic management. So the critical thing is whether we want to see a downward trend in lending rate, a downward trend in inflation further, a downward trend in other indicators, and then we want to see a robust growth taking place that will accommodate debt management, etc. We want to see efficient debt management coming on board, and then we want to see a reflection of those things in the market, in the projects that are being undertaken for the economy. I mean, those are the areas that our expectations are.
Chief, Dr. Addison says they will continue to tighten monetary policy to anchor inflation. Is this, in your view, working, and will it work in the coming days?
Well, I think over 2 years now, this idea of tightening monetary policy and then trying to anchor inflation has not worked for us. We are of the view that additional measures ought to be put in place to make this policy effective. We know that Bank of Ghana has twofold mandate to ensure price stability and to ensure economic development. It is high time the Bank of Ghana start seeing certain areas of the economy for intervention in terms of financing, especially the agricultural sector should be of interest to the central bank to augment all the effort that they are making in the Bank of Ghana. But to a large extent, just a tightening monetary policy does not help anybody.
Professor Gachi, before you take leave of us, for the finance minister, stability has been achieved with inflation on a slow trajectory downward. There's also a mention of growth for first 2 quarters of 2023, averaging 3.2%. In your view, this is some good news. And while at that, others from the presser, the key indicators of the review have been met, have they not?
Yes, that is what the IMF indicated, and that is good news that they have met their target. But it is not a target that is what is a reflection of the Ghanaian interest per se. The Ghanaian want to go to the market and see inflation dropping and the prices following. The Ghanaian want to go to the bank to borrow, and that the lending rate is going down. And then when it comes to managing their businesses, they are now going to price their products and services downwards for the consuming public to consume. Those are the things that we want to achieve. But that is to meet the requirement that the IMF imposed on them. For example, when the IMF was asked about the Treasury bill cost now to the government, they only say that they are happy because this was expected. But that is not an answer to address the needs of the distortion in government finances, the possible maturity risk that government is experiencing, the difficulty for government not going into the domestic debt, longer-term domestic market. So these are issues that are of concern to the Ghanaian businesses, for the Ghanaian investment environment, and for individual households. This is not an answer to the issue of unemployment that is creating a whole lot of problem for us. This is not institutional build-up and the reform that we want to see. So we need to be very careful how we interpret this result that the IMF has actually announced.
Prof, thank you. Professor John Gatchie is the Dean of the Business School of the University of Cape Coast. Away from that, as Ghana strives to attain self-financing over vaccines, calls have been made for a sustainable source of funding for immunization across the country. According to the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, the yawning gaps in the health sector include the periodic shortages of vaccines, and that must be addressed. My colleague Christian Yali is covering that important event and has joined us on Zoom for some update. Chris, thank you for joining us on the program. Tell us more about the meeting and what it seeks to achieve.
Right, Crosby. So it is expected that in 2027, the foreign donors who help in co-financing immunization and vaccine production for Ghana would withdraw their services. And so government, through this meeting, is coming to discuss a draft national transition plan that will help Ghana to ensure a fiscal sustainability in immunization and vaccine production. And there's also part of effort being made by government to ensure an eventual self-financing of vaccines in the country. And so this meeting is a high-level one that involves almost all the sectors that are in that matter when it comes to vaccine production and vaccine financing. So the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, and allied partners. You have Gavi also around, which is a global, institution when it comes to issues related to financing and production of equitable and sustainable vaccines across the globe.
Right. So it appears that a lot of interesting conversations will come up at this event. Talk to us about some of them.
So experts here have been calling for a proper, program for immunization for the country as the country embarks on this new journey. But again, what is pivotal and important is the need for a clear financing mechanism. Aside from that, there is a need for a motivated health force that would implement this. We have been talking about issues about brain drain in the health sector and how we keep losing most of our essential healthcare workers. That sits perfectly well into this conversation about the new paradigm shift towards self-financing co-financing of vaccine and immunization in the country. But again, there is an issue about how transparent the country can be with procurement and accountability when it comes to this new program. And again, one thing that Dr. Ohiri mentions is the need for an aggressive communication strategy to ensure that this program is very effective.
A progressively larger share of co-financing for vaccines. And that means that year on year, between now and 2030, when Ghana finally starts fully financing its vaccines, there will be an increasing cost of maintaining such a high quality program and maintaining that coverage. This is not easy for any country, much less a country that is going through its fiscal challenges. So it is quite commendable that today, we're here today to really map out a roadmap for how Ghana can successfully continue to sustain a high-quality vaccine program. And I just want to underscore how critical today is and how critical this exercise is to actually come up with a clear roadmap for that. And that clear roadmap needs to address a couple of things. One, the roadmap needs to actually address how does Ghana begin to optimize its vaccine portfolio so that it is more affordable?
Right, Chris, so before you go to follow the discussions, what is the expectation at the end of the day's meeting?
Yeah, so currently there are discussions, technical discussions ongoing, trying to get or solicit input from various stakeholders. So at the end of the day, or at the end of it all, we expect that we'll have a clear guideline or a clear framework or policy direction concerning this draft national transitional plan for vaccine and immunization in the country.
Thank you so much, Christian Yali, there bringing us update on the conversation of producing vaccines in the country and vaccine financing entirely. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby-Anna. We're back with more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Ghana, are you ready? Mark your calendar as the Makers House Chapel International presents the Experience Conference 2023. From the 1st to the 8th of October, it's the gathering of the spiritual luminaries of the land. Get ready to experience Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Mensa Otabil, Archbishop Charles Ajina Sari, Reverend Dr. Ampia Kofi, Reverend Dr. Steve Mensah, Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Markwe, Bishop Frank Ofosu Apia, and your host, Dr. Michael Bwedi Nyamiche. Come and experience Jesus, the miracle worker. Venue is the Destiny Arena of the Makers House Chapel International, Atomic, adjacent School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. Time is 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on weekdays, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday, and 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Sundays. It's going to be a life-changing encounter. The Experience Conference 2023. I can't wait.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country.
The key points of the stories that matter with the people who matter.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program. Every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on TV3 and on Free FM 92.7. TV3, first in news.
Mac Brown's Kitchen. Mac Brown's Kitchen.
I'm ready to send me to Mac Brown's Kitchen. New season, new stations. Hey, Mac Brown's Kitchen. Oh, Nana, who want TV so I check? I knew who you check, but the Namiani ain't Chakrano. But TV3, Mimi Devia, Anne, 5 to 6 p.m. Nana Yabasha Wati, Minimi Kunumi, my Basho, Sasako, Ghana Fodo. Hey, that's it.
Mac Brown's Kitchen, premiering Saturday, October 7 at 5 p.m. on TV3.
He speaks the unvarnished truth. He does not mince words. In actual fact, he says what he means, and he means what he says. Because it looks like you eat politics, you drink politics, you sleep politics, literally your entire life. Have they put you on any red alerts?
Yes.
I heard you say that. Something about money laundering or so?
They claim I'm doing money laundering.
Are you doing money laundering?
I don't even have a washing machine to talk of laundry.
You don't have a washing machine in your house?
No, I have one for clothes. I don't have one for money. Ghana has been sent 20 years back. For us to even get an IMF program, we had to go and beg some people to beg some people to beg some other people to go and beg the IMF before they give us a loan. That's how bad we are.
Well, Honorable Sam George, MP for Ningo Prampram, joins us on the show this week, but he's not the only one. You see him play on the show all the time, but really, what is his life like behind and in front of the scenes? So this is your full-time career?
This is my full-time career.
So what happened to the purchase and supply you studied?
For now, you know, Ghana.
Well, DJ Filter will also join us this week. Okay, so don't miss The Day Show right here on TV3. And of course, I will be your host. Don't miss.
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
The past 12 weeks of this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful competition, contestants have been on a journey of sheer determination, showcasing great talent and the rich culture of our beautiful nation on the Ghana's Most Beautiful stage. 5 beautiful ladies, Na Ayele, the courageous one from the Greater Accra region. Adwanigi, the bold one from the Upper East region. Selom, the ambitious one from the Volta region. Kwatma, the determined one from the Bunu region. And Nura, the assertive one from the Northern region. Come 8th of October at the National Theatre, dreams will be realized, and one of these exceptional ladies will be crowned Ghana's Most Beautiful 2023. Keep pushing your favorite contestants to win the most coveted crown, the cash, and the car by voting to the short code *713 *13# on all mobile networks. You can also download the TV3 Reality app on App Store or Play Store. It will be an amazing night of glitz and glamour. Grab your tickets for a cool 50 Ghana cedis and come support your favorite queen on the 8th of October at the National Theatre, 8 p.m. sharp. Ghana's Most Beautiful, Ghana's Beauty, Africa's Pride.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soap, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxy Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Black Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco.
Save 500.
Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
You're welcome back to the program. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and its allied association have commiserated with the family of the former President John Agyekum Kufuor on the loss of his wife, Theresa Kufuor. The wife of the former President, Theresa Kufuor, passed on Sunday, October 1, 2023.
President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Ofori Ampofo, led a delegation of nurses and midwives to her residence. She recounted the contributions of the late Madam Theresa Kufuor to the nursing and midwifery profession.
We are here to commiserate with the Kufuor family on the loss of our mother, sister, and senior colleague who in her earlier days served as a nurse midwife. We commiserate with the entire family and of course the good people of Ghana, and we pray that the Lord should give her rest.
The National Chief Imam, Dr. Sheikh Nuhu Shaributu, and other statesmen were also at the Kufuor residence to commiserate with the family.
It's now time for some business news with Menuafo. Menu, what's in the package this afternoon?
So the IMF had earlier projected a growth for Ghana of 1.5%, but following improved macroeconomic indicators, they are set to revise it. We have the details in our bulletin. Thank you so much. Welcome to the business segment with me, Menuafo. In our first story, the International Monetary Fund has hinted of plans to revise its growth forecast for Ghana following improved macroeconomic indicators. The Bretton Woods institution had earlier projected the country will end 2023 at 1.5%, a situation the Bank of Ghana sought to challenge following controlled exchange rates and inflation. IMF Mission Chief for Ghana, Stéphane Roudet, addressed the media at a joint IMF Ministry of Finance briefing organized here in Accra.
In terms of projection for the year as a whole was 1.5%. So that gives you an idea of the difference in terms of what is actually happening on the ground and what the assumptions of the program were. And so yes, we will revise growth up for this year, but I will come up with details and the exact number later in the future. What we are seeing in terms of growth dynamics is better than what we were anticipating. I think this is really very good news. On the stability front, I would say this is the same. Inflation is coming down. International reserves of the central bank are going up, which is also very important to bolster confidence. And so we also have the adjustment to the fiscal position. The minister mentioned the numbers for end June that are much better also than the targets. The external position in general is stronger. The currency has become much less volatile than what Ghana has experienced at the end of last year, where it was a very challenging situation. So clearly there is a turnaround, there is an improvement, and signs of macroeconomic stability are now emerging.
Meanwhile, the World Bank has revised downwards Ghana's 2023 growth projection by 0.1%, a marginal decrease attributed to dampened economic activity in the country. The following 3 Business Desk report has the details. Ghana's GDP growth is expected to decelerate from 3.1% in 2022 to 1.5% in 2023. A marginal reduction in the World Bank's earlier prediction of 1.6%. This was revealed in the bank's latest Africa Pulse report. Although economic performance in Ghana exceeded market expectations in the first quarter of 2023, with GDP growth accelerating to 4.2% year-on-year from 3.2% in the last quarter of 2022, more recent higher frequency indicators show mixed results. The Bretton Woods institution says efforts towards fiscal consolidation will hamper aggregate demand in the economy, adding that economic activity is dampened by poor performance in agriculture. According to the World Bank, eliminating monetary financing of the deficit and restructuring central bank's foreign exchange market interventions might help reduce inflation, reconstitute reserves, and bolster investor confidence. Away from that, the Food and Drugs Authority has revealed over 6,000 products have so far been registered under its progressive licensing scheme since its inception. The CEO of the authority, Delise Mimi Darko, made this known on the sidelines of a training program organized for her outfit by GIZ on manufacturing regulations.
The Progressive Licensing Scheme is a Government of Ghana initiative being implemented by the Food and Drugs Authority. It seeks to introduce a three-stage licensing regime to support small business units to improve on the safety, quality and wholesomeness of their products.
Since we started in 2020, we've got about over 6,000 products registered on the Progressive Licensing Scheme and over 3,000 companies that we have registered. You know that we are dealing with startup companies, and the idea is that no matter where you are manufacturing from, we will allow you to start once there are no safety implications to your product. And we will register you and give you a license and then help you to move up to the next level.
Madame Darko further added that women have been major beneficiaries of the scheme since its introduction.
I'm happy to say as a woman that at least 70% of the entrepreneurs are women and who are starting up their business. So it's been very good.
And that's how we wrap up the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Minuafo. Stay with us. We have sports news coming up next.
Our mission here at TV3 is that the news comes first, and that's the promise of News Central.
With reporters every corner of the country.
Consignment to attend their action,
to production, to the lions, and experts across the subjects that affects you the most.
We stay across the big stories that impact you the most as they break, develop and evolve into major national issues.
With all angles covered across the country and across every subject. I am Kemini Amano.
And I am Eric Mawina Egbeta.
News Central, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
The expert at anything was once a beginner.
I seek for unmatched work experience that will prepare me for the real job.
Internship can help you stand out in a competitive job market.
I want to be an intern in one of Ghana's most reputable companies.
In the heart of the corporate world, there's a search for the next top intern.
On this journey, some aspiring interns will get to embark on an unforgettable adventure.
These interns will face a series of real-world challenges and tasks.
For the next top intern on the Top Intern reality show, ambition meets determination. From the tasks to the boardroom, to alliances, and to winning. Who will be the ultimate top intern? Get ready for an epic internship showdown. To be part of this reality show, aspiring participants should have at least a second-class upper and above. Register now at forms.mg.com.gh/topintern. Who sweeps the top prize of an internship at a reputable company, cash prizes, and many more.
Are you the one?
For the top intern we're looking for, be you?
The Top Intern. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders.
Do not
not intend to take advantage of other people because you may be taken advantage of.
I am a married woman who loved social media so much.
There must be principles in the home.
Okay.
Even as a prophet, there are times I don't pick up my calls. Okay. It doesn't matter the time you call me, you see. And it also depends on who is calling.
We started getting attached to each other. And this man told me he would want to go back with me when he's leaving Ghana.
Okay.
So I started thinking, what would I tell my husband?
You are in a marriage. It is blissful. Why the extracurricular activities? And when will our ladies learn that all that glitters is not gold?
The man left with the money you collected from the 10 people that he was supposed to use it to help your husband who sent your brother travel.
Yeah.
From what I heard in the confession, it looks like it's because her husband is in jail now and she's pregnant for the guy. That's why she's here.
One of my biggest problems now is that some people are going around with my picture, duping ladies and taking monies from them.
And your pictures are dupable.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN.
When controversies arise, when there is trending news, when the hard talk must be done. My name is AJ Akwakosapo, and your TV and radio princess. Consider me the lady with all the juice. If it's trending, I've got you. Join me on The Trend every Friday live on TV3 as we discuss all the trending topics for the week with my in-studio guests. We're very interactive, so follow the conversation on our YouTube channel, get interactive on Twitter, and use the hashtag TheTrendsGH. The Trends, the biggest conversations on social media. Join me and my guests every Friday and share your opinion, your thoughts, and of course, get interactive every Friday live on TV3.
The Trends shows every Friday at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
What do you men want? What do you want?
We want women.
You want women?
We want women.
Ade. You want women? What am I to you? Come what am I to you?
You are a woman. Meyere. To me confirm Manchester the Betunsu.
Chester Water Brother, Meadow Joda 1159.
Ubrezi ana usi hata hamana so hono. Akromfo be fa en wahu. Mi hu yo. Timi de se ona hamana yesi. Tumu sa hamana ye nipa nko be kasa. One side pe.
Auntie B, me se me ko wo fufuo no e wo soro ho. Tu no ba to se me. Ashi gogo. Nana ma go top.
Top code. Udiem pepepe.
Method. Malaria game changer, no.
Raffle cost a chance to win big. Wallet, Yabatao. Kidder syrup, and Mamma Freddy tea.
If you're this and every Friday at 8:30 p.m.
You're welcome to the sports segment of the bulletin. And after the GFA elections, a lot of reactions are pouring in, congratulatory ones for the new GFA president, the re-elected GFA president, Keto Kweku. But Rick Wampofo has the details in sport. Rick, over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And we'll be hearing from the president of the Ghana Football Association, Ket Okreku, who says that he's ready to work with George Afriyie after his successful re-election yesterday at the Ghana Football Association Elective Congress held in Tamale. Afriyie, a former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, was aiming to unseat the newly re-elected GFA president after losing out to him 4 years ago, but he was eliminated at the vetting stage this time round.
Just one message for him. We can only build the Ghanaian game when we stay together. Football cake is a very big one. And everybody, including my brother George, has a role to play. I will reach out to George and I'll bring him back home. So, George, wherever you are, we are one. My message to you is Midiema. My message to you is Midiema.
Well, it wasn't all about the presidency at the GFA elections on Thursday, as representatives for the Executive Council were also voted for the Premier League and Division 1. Here are some thoughts from some of the winners on the day.
And I know I'm going to get 5 votes from the clique. And then I looked into the 8 votes that are floating. And I said I'm going to get 5 votes from the 8 votes that are just floating. So I was not surprised I got 10, but I wish I could have gotten more.
Although we have to give thanks to God for the strength and energy and the blessings He's offered us. It doesn't come by chance. And then I would also want to thank the football family. I think that they've shown faith, they believe in me, and they've always been there for me.
Well, let's go beyond the elections and go back in time to 2014, where Sule Muntari and Kevin Prince Boateng were sacked from Ghana's the Black Stars squad at the World Cup. A day before the group game against Portugal, Boateng has opened up on the event that led to the sack.
Because I spoke with the president about payments and them. Okay. Like we had a meeting and I criticized them and I said they can't treat us like that because we know how much money they make and they should invest in the organization and give the player the money they deserve. So they didn't like that. They kicked me out.
Sometimes when you speak the truth, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's like, and they put a letter under my door. Oh. I took the letter and no, you know what? It was 6 in the morning at the World Cup 2014 in Brazil. They kicked me out.
No.
Well, before we go, the latest from the NBA, where Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid, the NBA's reigning MVP, has committed to play for Team USA at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Embiid informed Team USA Executive Director Grant Hill of his decision on Thursday morning. Sources said just days after the two quietly met for close to an hour in Fort Collins, Colorado, where the Sixers are holding training camp. Embiid said Thursday that he also was in contact with representatives from the French national team, but ultimately decided on Team USA after the meeting with Hill. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Oreko Ampofo. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment with Anita.
Well, the entertainment segment is up next. Anita Kwekufu has the details with us. Anita, what's coming up?
I mean, this weekend is all about Ghana's most beautiful, who wins the crown. And so we've been profiling them one after the other all throughout the weekend. So it's the 10 of the Greater Accra region, and she's very hopeful.
Anyways, bring us the details.
All right, sure. My name is Anita Kwekufu, and the Ghana's most beautiful crown is currently in the northern region. For now, it is unknown where it is headed next, but a representative of the Greater Accra region, Nayele, is upbeat that the crown is destined for her region.
Dance from the Greater Accra region.
Nayele is a passionate lady, a go-getter. She makes sure she follows her dreams and makes sure that until she has achieved the goal, she doesn't relent.
For the past 12 weeks, 23-year-old Deborah Fidelia Nayele Hammond, stage name Nayele, has been a true ambassador of the Greater Accra region, highlighting some of the region's best cultural practices, heritage and tourism potential.
Before no kale bale, wakale cho bi never hear dane ko nyanwa. Woni nyango chomo netwale, neyi ababode. Cha no manya blawo.
So this is your second attempt at GMB. You came for the auditions last year, but you didn't make it. Why did you decide to come back again this year?
I am a go-getter, and I am passionate. So the things that I love, I make sure that I follow it. Because GMB wasn't a dream I had within a year. It's a dream I had when I was just 8 years old. And with each passing year, I worked towards it and I aimed for it.
From day one till now, would you say that you fulfilled a dream of yours?
Right. I'll say that I feel so fulfilled. This journey has been an amazing one, and this is exactly what I dreamt of. And so it's like a dream come true. My focus whenever I'm coming on the stage is to accomplish the mission, right? To make sure that I'm able to perform, because you know the nerves and everything, sometimes you can go off track. And so I focus on the fact that I need to finish up this performance and it should be amazing. Like my people should be proud of me and I should feel fulfilled as well.
With 8 nominations and 3 awards so far, Naa Ayele is a proud finalist in this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful. According to her, winning GMB will be a dream come true and ultimately help secure the necessary support to reduce the number of street children.
This is the finale, the grand one, the night where we make history. So I am going to bring every part of me. If there's an aspect you've not even seen before, trust me, you will see that night. I am going to make you proud because this is the night I have always dreamt of. And so I need to make a mark.
The self-motivated queen is fired up to bring out her all at the finals to win the coveted crown, but she is also counting on the people of the Greater Accra region for support. What does winning mean to you as Naa Ayele?
To be very honest, winning means everything to me. It means the world to me. And everyone who has known me since I was a child knows that this is just a dream. And it is what I look forward to. I'll be the happiest person on earth if I win this. And it is my prayer that I do. And that is why this finale, I'm going to do my best to get the ultimate. But I have to plead with you again. Please vote for Naa Ayele. This is the dream. Before we came for this competition, we made a promise to the children on the street. So, and I am their hope at this point with you. We have to make them proud. We have to help them. So please come to my aid. Even if you've not voted for me before, oh please, wherever the money is, this finale, vote for me. Support Naa Ayele. Let's bring the crown to the Greater Accra region.
Well, tickets are selling at 50 Ghana cedis. Make sure you grab yours and then meet us on Sunday at the National Theatre for the grand finale of Ghana's Most Beautiful. But away from that, Ghanaian rapper Medical has unveiled his latest single, Balenciaga, featuring the renowned Nigerian singer Mayo Kun. The track is part of Medical's highly anticipated album, Planning and Plotting, a 14-track masterpiece that showcases a fusion of diverse musical talents from across the continent. The track effortlessly bridges the gap between Nigeria and Ghana, two powerhouses in the African music scene, showcasing the shared cultural and musical heritage that unites these nations.
Sometimes I keep it cool. I fly from Ghana to Niger, so I link up me.
All right, and so that's it for the entertainment news segment this afternoon on Midday Live. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu. Up next is international news. Good afternoon.
In international news this afternoon, Zimbabwe's government has introduced restrictions to control a cholera outbreak that is suspected to have killed more than 100 people. The measures include suspending some social gatherings and restricting the number of people allowed to attend funerals in areas affected by the outbreak, which include many districts across the country and parts of the capital. Harare, shaking hands and the serving of food at funerals have also been banned. The Health Ministry had on Wednesday announced 100 suspected cholera deaths, 30 of which had been confirmed through laboratory tests. The ministry also confirmed 905 cholera cases out of more than 4,600 suspected cases. Zimbabwe is prone to frequent cholera outbreaks. One of its worst outbreaks between 2008 and 2009 killed more than 4,200 people and infected nearly 100,000 others. That's our package for you this afternoon, but there's also more news on our website. 3news.com. Please log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby-Ann, and we have the entire production team. Thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. It's the weekend. Enjoy it. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.